kind of, I don't know if force is the word, but they've got to manipulate some offense a little bit, make things happen, especially early with bunts and steals.
Not going again. A slider for a strike. 1-2 to Tyler Macon. Remember last year, Todd, this Missouri team in Columbia swept Florida. It was one of the highlights in an otherwise disappointing year. And now Florida like to give a little payback, a little close play there at first, but go back diving.
Nice pick by Lawson over there at first base. He's another guy Sully really loves. Kevin O'Sullivan said this guy's a future big leaguer as well, first baseman.
1-2. It's outside.
If you were going to run, you could reasonably assume that would have been the pitch to go on. 1-2, you're going to try to get a swing and miss. You get a little more time to go on the off speed, and he didn't go.
Liam Peterson, his last start, pitched so-so against Vandy, allowed 3 runs in 5 1/3. And allowed a season-high 5 walks, ended up taking the loss in that ballgame. In there for strike 3. A little bender, late action on it. Macon looks at strike 3. 2 down, both on strikeouts.
Yeah, and that's the key word. When you say late action, that means it looks like a fastball to the hitter halfway to the plate. And so he gives up on it, and then it goes out and down into the strike zone. Macon probably thought it was an elevated fastball above the waist to get to 3-2. Instead, he gets frozen.
So 2 outs. 1 on for the cleanup hitter, Caden Nicoletto. Nicoletto's an interesting study. A native of Australia. He's from Perth. And look at the numbers. Very respectable. With the game-winning 2-run homer in the top of the 9th on Tuesday in that midweek game as this one gets away. And all those throws over from Liam Peterson. And nothing to show for it. In fact, Goldbeck now in scoring position.
The offense is good for Florida, and the defense is top 15 in the country. You don't usually see them give free bags away on defense. Their biggest problem has been the walks, and you mentioned it with Liam Peterson. 5 walks against Florida in 5 innings. Against Vanderbilt. That has been his issue.
And you saw Kevin O'Sullivan over there on the Florida bench. It's just been a frustrating year for him as well. 3-time conference coach of the year. This is his 18th season with the Gators. Inside, they're now 3-0. And we talked about, again, the walks being an issue the last time Peterson took them out.
Well, and he was dominant in the first batter, Knutson, and struck out Tyler Macon. But now with some traffic on the bases and kind of a distraction, you can see what an effect it has on Liam Peterson so far.
Strike at the knees. It's just an easy 96, too. It doesn't look like he's putting a lot of stress on his body when he lets it go. And how good he is. Third baseman, Colby Shelton. Powerful shortstop. Brendan Lawson, you can see what he did Tuesday against Florida State. A lot of heavy lifting. Homer double, 4 runs batted in. Heyman, Sear, Donay is in the lineup again as the DH, Yost, Wilson, and Nato. And they're going to be facing Brady Kellenbrink, freshman left-hander out of Baldwin, Missouri. He is 0-2 with an ERA well over 9. This is his 4th consecutive SEC start. He's looking for his and the team's luck to change here tonight.
This is one of the kids we talked about have been forced into a role. He's an ace now for this Missouri staff. Coach Kerrick Jackson told us, you said you were ready. Let's see. And here he is out on the mound against Gainesville. Can he control his heartbeat in this scenario? Fastball is 87 to 89. It gets a little faster than that. It gets straight. Against the left-handers, it's 8 of 10 fastballs. So he relies on that fastball to stay around the zone. He's got 10 walks in 14 innings. That's a little high. If he can stay around the zone, he's pretty good. Right-handed hitters only hit 279 off of him. He was the number 2 left-handed pitcher out of Missouri in high school last year.
Yeah, and he was a big-time strike thrower at Parkway South High School just outside of St. Louis. Yeah, there's 10 walks in 14 innings. That really jumps off the stat page. Can he keep the free passes to a minimum here tonight? We will soon find out. as he misses outside to the leadoff man, Bobby Bozer. Bozer has reached safely in 15 straight, and he has hits in 8 in a row. He's quickly the hitters count 2-0.
And Clay, that's been the issue for both these teams. And you can look at all the stats you want, but walks and errors, so free passes kill you. And Missouri leads the league within those 12 games of the conference in walks given up, and Florida is second worst, giving up the most walks. These two teams are not throwing strikes, and that's been the biggest difference as to why they struggle within the conference.
There you see Missouri's pitching this season, where they rank. Basically at or near the bottom. And that's upstairs. 3-1 to Bozer. And you talked about the errors too, Todd. Missouri got a win on Tuesday at SIU Edwardsville, but they committed 8 errors. Still managed to get the win. That stays high, and it's a walk right away to Bozer. So early indications are that Kellen Brink will be battling his own demons here. He only lasted an inning and a third at Arkansas last week. Gave up 4 runs, walked a couple, and Kerrick Jackson had to go get him early.
Yeah, and the other issue with walking is not only ball 4, but it's you're putting hitters in offensive count. So even if you don't walk them, they smell blood in the water. As a hitter, I know you can know when a pitcher's struggling a little bit. He's going to rely more on his fastball, and that's when you can really go nuts on him. And look, they gave up 51 runs last weekend in Fayetteville. So, they've struggled to trick these hitters, for lack of a better term, and they're having to rely on that fastball. And again, when you struggle with walks, that fastball becomes predictable.
Here's Colby Shelton, the junior shortstop, Gators' leading hitter. As he looks at a breaking ball strike, now 0-2 to Shelton. You see that Shelton leads the team in average extra base hits. 15 doubles, I should say. That's 10th in the country, first in the SEC. It's sharply back up the middle. That's a base hit. An 0-2 pitch that Shelton rams right back through the box. And 2 on, nobody out for the Gators here in the first.
And that's an example of what I'm talking about when you're struggling with command. He threw a nice curveball that fooled Colby on an 0-1 pitch, but now Colby's seen it. And so now he's expecting it to come again. Kellen Brink hangs it, and it's base hit up the middle on 0-2. He misses his spot.
And now the big freshman from outside of Toronto, Canada. This is Brendan Lawson. He skies this one down the line in left, and it's not going to be playable for Tyler Macon after a long run. Kevin O'Sullivan is really excited about this guy, Todd. And we talked about him doing all the heavy lifting on Tuesday. Was 2 for 4 against the Seminoles. He had a 3-run homer and an RBI double against FSU. You can see his numbers for the year. It's just been an impressive rookie campaign.
There's the curveball that he's looking for. 6'3" freshman. Yeah, you're right. He's a good-looking kid. 19th round draft pick by the Cardinals. He's the #1 shortstop out of Ontario, Canada. And you'll notice this with a lot of the Florida Gators. They all are high school shortstops that Kevin O'Sullivan puts around the infield and the outfield, just because those are the best athletes for the most part in high school. They play shortstop, and this kid playing first base was a shortstop a year ago.
Yeah, we were talking to Sully about that earlier in the season, and he says
you notice that it's lefty on lefty matchups, and Kevin O'Sullivan knows that lefties hit Kellen Brink better than right-handers. They're hitting 333 off of him. Left-handed hitters are, and we've seen it 2 out of the first 3 hitters with base hits. Shelton and Lawson, both left-handed hitters. They got 4 left-handers in this lineup, does Florida, and they're not afraid with that what's supposed to be a dominant matchup for the pitcher, lefty on lefty. 2 base hits in the first 3 hitters.
Now the catcher, Luke Heyman, swings and misses on that 80-mile-an-hour changeup. Heyman, really good defensive catcher. We saw that last half inning when he threw out a runner to end the side, but also seeing it well at the plate, riding an 8-game hitting streak.
And he's the best hitter within the conference. He's hitting 386 in SEC play, and we've got 12 games under our belt now. So now you start to look at the stats within the conference to see who can really play. This man, Luke Kamen, top 10. Very good.
Yeah, look at those numbers over the last 8 games. Fouls it back. Well, this is gut check time here for the freshman Kellenbrink. A guy that they had no designs on starting on the weekend this year, but injuries have made that impossible to not have him out there. We talked about Javen Pimental, Ian Losi, a couple of guys they had
right away. And the Gators 5-0, and there's still nobody out.
And now a trip to the mound here as Tim Jamison comes out. Missouri's ERA 8.83 coming into the night, by far last in the league. And this inning is not helping matters. You know, the thing about Florida, even though they've been struggling, the offense is still one of the best in the SEC when it's tuned right. And they lost Jack Caglione for sure to the draft last year, a guy that, you know, carried them into Omaha. They're behind the home run pace that they had a season ago, in large part because they lost that big bat. But there is still a lot of physical presence up and down this Florida lineup.
And it's without Cade Curlin, who they expect to be an everyday guy. He got off to a good start. He's out. Kyle Jones, and then Ty Evans, who had that big Omaha run back in 2023 where he hit 5 home runs. So they've got 3 big hitters out of this offensive lineup.
And here's another guy that can tear a hole in a game. 6'5", 235-pound Brody Donay. Second on the team in average and home runs. He's in the designated hitter role tonight. As you look at those Gators injuries, Evans has been dealing with a concussion. Kyle Jones out for the year. Cade Curlin recently ruled out for the year. Pierce Coppola, they're hoping he can come back from a shoulder injury. And Frank Menendez, he had to shut it down because of Tommy John.
Yeah, Coppola was supposed to be their number 2. He's out. And then Frank Menendez was off to a fantastic start this year. The 12 strikeouts in only 7 innings, and he's out. So if they can get, part of winning championships is having the talent and, of course, you know, having guys do what you don't expect them. But thirdly, you got to stay healthy.
Just saw Menendez there looking like Robo-Man. I mean, some of those guys will recover very quickly after Tommy John, and others it's more than a year process. 2-2, swung on and missed. That's a strikeout. First out for Kellenbrink, and a much needed first out.
Yeah, put yourself in Kerrick Jackson's spot now. You're down 5. That's the first out in the first inning. Do you go get him? Do you start using your bullpen in the first inning? Or do you say, look, he's just going to have to fight his way out of it, and that's what you're seeing right now. And it's got to be frustrating for Kerrick. But
well, nobody moving in that bullpen right now, Todd.
Yeah, and that's my point is, like, what do? Do you put some other guys in the first inning, eat up 5, 6, 7 guys in the first game of a 3-game series? No. I mean, if you're Brady Kellenbrink, you gotta go. You got to pick it up. You're gaining trial by fire right here for the freshman.
1-0 to Hayden Yost, and he's going to sling it into center field for a base hit. Five hits in the inning for the Gators, and that'll bring up Ashton Wilson.
5 hits in the first 7 hitters with 2 home runs. But again, now you're looking for Kellenbrink to regroup, gather himself, and now the pressure ought to be a little bit off. Now, you know, the damage has been done in the first inning. Now, if you're Kellenbrink, take a deep breath, control yourself, and let's start from here.
Ashton Wilson is in right field, hitting just 147, a homer and 4 runs batted in, but he has been a star in the past for Florida. He was the MVP of the Stillwater Regional last year. Drove in 6 runs in the NCAA tournament's first round. And that is hit deep to the power alley, and that is off the wall. Pierre Seals quickly gets it back on the infield. Stopping at third is Yost, and that's a double for Ashton Wilson. 2 on, 1 out, and Nadeau will get a chance to hit here right away in the first inning, the number 9 hitter.
Got 9 hitters to the plate in the first inning, and we only have the 1 out. Nice job holding Yost at third base. There's no reason to force an out at home plate, and they know they're getting to Kellenbrink right now. So basically station to station at this point. Let your hitters do the work, and they are doing it.
Justin Nadeau, the second baseman, transfer from Jacksonville. And he looks at a strike on the breaking ball. So Florida won 16 of its first 18 games. It's been a different story since the start of SEC play. Swept to 10.
Point out while you're looking at it is it's brick behind home plate. All that brick. When the pass ball happens, if the catcher doesn't nick it right here, if it goes straight to the backstop, it's coming right back to him. And I don't know if that'll be an issue tonight, but you got to be careful at third base on the pass balls if the catcher doesn't get a piece of it.
Florida lost 2 of 3 to Ole Miss and then swept here by Vanderbilt over the weekend. First time Vandy had ever come to Gainesville and pulled off a sweep. So this is exactly the kind of start that Kevin O'Sullivan and the Gators needed. They are coming off that win over Florida State on Tuesday night. You can see in the Vanderbilt series, you know, they only scored 5 total runs, and they've got 6 already here tonight. Look out. It backs up Nadeau. It's 2-2.
Yeah, and that's with Vanderbilt shutting out this Florida offense in game 1 of that series. Yeah, I mean, it really never matters who you're playing against. You start to get, you ever heard that hitting's contagious? You start getting some hits and getting some splashed around, then all of a sudden you feel better about yourself. And this could get Florida kick-started for sure.
Well, both outs in this inning for Kellenbrink have come via the strikeout as Nadeau goes down. And now back to the top of the order, and Bozer, who got this started with a walk. Bobby Bozer, transfer from USF. I'll say that pitch right there for Kellenbrink looks to be his most effective right now. That slow backdoor breaking ball.
And then back it up with that fastball that was 92, looks 98, and you see the changeup right in the pitch before. He's got an extra pitch against these right-handed hitters. You can drop that changeup on him. You don't usually go lefty-lefty changeup, and that's why lefties are hitting better against Kellenbrink than the righties. But he's got more options when he faces a right-handed hitter.
That's Wilson at third. 1-2 pitch. Struck him out. So Kellenbrink strikes out the side. That's the good news for C series starting tonight. South Carolina at Texas A&M. A couple of teams with new head coaches. Michael Early's Aggies coming off that series win at #1 Tennessee last week after getting no hit a week ago tonight in game 1. And so, you know, like we said, you know, even though both of these teams are struggling, as Texas A&M was at one time, you know, it can happen so fast. Your fortunes can change. Pierre Seals at the plate to be followed by Lovich and Cerna. And it's 1-2 to Pierre Seals, the center fielder for Missouri tonight. Transfer from Memphis. Came to Columbia along with Coach Jackson. 1-2 pitch. And Peterson sends that one in the dirt.
This is the time, Clay, when you would think Liam Peterson, here's the fastball, try to hit it. Right, 97, 98 miles an hour. There's no reason to dance around the zone. Get in 2-2 counts. Get the pitch count up where you can't last through this game. Part of an ace's job is to save the bullpen. So right now, 6-run lead. Let's throw that fastball in there and see if they can hit it.
Now remember, Peterson walked Nicoletto, the last hitter he faced in the first inning, but Goldbeck was thrown out at third to end the inning. Popped up behind home plate. It's going to get out of play. And we talked about Peterson's issues with walks here, especially the last time he took them out. Gave up 5 free passes to the Razorbacks. The one thing he has really done is cut down dramatically on home runs allowed. Here's a line drive to center, and that's going to get down in front of Hayden Yost. Second hit of the game for Missouri. Leadoff man is on as Seals delivers, and Jackson Lovich will come to the plate.
And that's what can happen when you know a fastball's coming as a hitter. And you can turn that thing around no matter who you are if you know it's coming, and really doesn't matter the velocity. 95, 96 up in the zone, and Pierre Seals able to put it into center field for a leadoff base hit.
Lovich has been their biggest bright spot offensively. Great numbers. Still not 100% though. And you can see 8 runs batted in on that game on April Fool's Day. That's not an April Fool's joke. 8 runs batted in one game.
Well, Jackson Lovich has been their best hitter. 436 and 6 home runs out of his last 78 at bats. He's been out with a little bit of an injury the last 5 or 6 games, but this is their guy.
There's Seals away from first. Ground ball. Could be 2. They're going to get the force at second, and not in time for the double play. How about the arm of Bozer from third? He was a little off balance, but threw a strike to second base to start the turn.
Not only the arm, but off balance, perfect throw right in the glove of Nadeau. Splits him right down the middle, and that's a deal where you're just hoping for the first out. And a lot of times you'll see a third baseman try to rush the double play, and they'll throw that thing into right field. Nice job by Bozer, staying under control, just get the first out, let Nadeau take care of the rest. And again, that play can get ugly, but nice job by Florida. And we've already told you with Kevin O'Sullivan, their defenses are always good in Florida.
Bozer's been the everyday third baseman for Florida, but he truly can play anywhere, with maybe the exception of behind home plate, but they really love his versatility.
Well, they've got shortstops all over the field, like Bozer, high school shortstop, Lawson, high school shortstop, Wilson, right field, high school shortstop. So, and Shelton played third base his freshman year at Alabama. Now he's a shortstop.
Cerna with the comebacker, and that will be 2 to end the inning. Mateo Cerna comes back to Liam Peterson, who starting on the weekend for the last month. Just a litany of injuries for the Tigers. And so the freshman has been thrust into a starting role and a game 1 starting role.
Well, and that's the one bright spot for Missouri. They have to put these freshmen and young kids on the field. So in the future, you could reasonably assume that they're going to be the best version of themselves because they get all this experience. And that's what Kerrick Jackson, that man right there, is hoping for, is for Kellenbrink right now to learn from this.
Colby Shelton, single and a run scored in the first. Lashes that one foul. Yeah, no opportunity wasted is the mantra for Kerrick Jackson and his program. He started that last year. Try to get better every day. He said to us on the phone, we're not going to chase wins right now. We just want to chase quality play, and the wins will come, however many that is at the end of the season. Breaking ball wrapped to first, and Lovich, injury and all, makes a nice play and steps on the bag to retire Shelton for the first out.
Well, he's played a lot of shortstop for Missouri. Now he's at first base with the injury, and you can see right there what an athlete he is. Nice pick to prevent extra bases from Florida. To his left, that was definitely a double, if not a triple, and Lovich gets the out.
Here's Brendan Lawson again. Pitch down and in. Brendan Lawson missed some valuable practice time in the fall after suffering a concussion. They didn't know what kind of a start to the year he would have. It's been very good. And he is right in the middle of this Florida lineup.
You know, Kerrick Jackson, it's fun talking to him. I mean, you talked about a quote he had. The other one he said today to us is, I'm going to change people, or I'm going to change people. And it makes a lot of sense there at Missouri. You know, I mean, he's got a lot of knowledge along with Tim Jamison right there, and those two guys with incredible amount of baseball knowledge. And the kids are going to buy in, or we're going to get somebody else. And they're trying to develop these kids. And we've talked about the injuries, and he's not going to ever use that as an excuse. But guys have to step up.
Another chance for Lovich behind the bag. He'll step on it with his second out. Well, this is a much more palatable inning with the Missouri coaching staff. As Heyman strides to the plate.
Well, and again, Clay, like this is when the nerves and everything go out the door. Now you've given up 6. If you're Kellenbrink, now you can relax a little bit and just start focusing on your pitches and start to slowly develop as a starting pitcher in this league.
Luke Heyman, 3-run homer. Didn't take long to get out of here to straightaway left field. His 7th of the year. Heyman, one of the glue guys in this Florida lineup in the clubhouse. Junior out of Longwood, Florida. This one is lifted to center. This is going to stay in the ballpark this time. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Kellenbrink. Tip of the hat to the freshman starter tonight for Missouri after getting knocked around in the first. Has a solid second in 2021. Very nice natural grass playing surface. 330 down the lines, 380 to the gaps, and 400 to straightaway center.
Yeah, $65 million can get you some nice things.
Well said. Patterson, the third baseman for Missouri, and he's going to test that power alley. Bounces off the base of the wall, and he'll coast into second with a leadoff double here in the 3rd inning. 3rd hit tonight for the Tigers.
There he is, Chris Patterson out of the 8th spot. 6'3" freshman. Gets an elevated fastball, rips it into left field for a leadoff double at a Prestonwood Academy last year in Texas. And that's what Missouri needs, just some sort of bright light, somebody to get it going, and with no outs, with better time to hit a double for Missouri.
And now the 9-hole hitter, Basler. Basler, another guy not completely healthy, playing with tennis elbow. I mean, it's so laughable. Kerrick Jackson just couldn't help but make a joke about it. He goes, it's crazy. Everything that has afflicted our team. Basler doesn't even play tennis, he said.
Well, I like that Liam Peterson came back with a fastball. Got hurt by Chris Patterson. First pitch to Basler in the 9th spot, 95 inside. Keep going.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that. Keep challenging these guys. You're up by 6. You know, you get the feel sometimes that Liam Peterson doesn't trust his fastball. He throws 98. You know, he doesn't get a whole lot of swing and misses at pitching again. You know, like now they've proven they can hit the fastball. They've turned the lineup over back to the leadoff guy and Knutson. And let's see now if we can go to work.
Knutson struck out against Peterson his first time. The offense has been okay for Missouri this year. Averaging close to 5 runs per game in league play. But it's the ones that are allowed that have everything out of whack. Just allowing way too many runs. But, you know, the offense at times can bite you. And we've seen that here in the 3rd inning.
Really good four-seamer on the outside corner. You can see how Liam Peterson can manipulate the fastball with the cutter at 89, and he can also sink it away from a left-handed barrel. So he's good with the fastball and kind of changing speeds. And nice job by Heyman trying to pull that back over the zone, but home plate umpire wasn't fooled. And right here, Liam Peterson still sticking with the idea that I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to keep coming. And I like that. Show him an off speed. Don't show him one pitch off speed, but let's still rely on our fastball because, like I just said, he's really good with throwing different speeds with that fastball, and you can trick a lot of hitters that way.
Lays off. Liam Peterson missed a start against Georgia 3 weeks ago. A little sore elbow. Had an MRI. Everything checked out. Came up clean. Was sore. 2-2 pitch. Again laying off Knutson. More disciplined at bat this time around against Peterson. And he fills out the count. Payoff pitch. Walked him. And that is the second walk allowed tonight by Peterson. And here comes Kevin O'Sullivan.
The second
After
part
back-to-back doubles and a walk.
Yeah, the second part of that fastball conversation is you've got to land your secondary pitches. If you can do that, now you have the hitter guessing and the fastball works. But if, like Liam Peterson tonight so far, has not been accurate with his off speed, and you can get some swings out of the zone, but when the hitters are not biting on the pitches outside the zone, now you're relying on your fastball. And you saw right there, he got in a 3-2 count, and he tried to put a little too much on it, and that's why the fastball was elevated and threw ball 4.
What was the gist of that conversation right there?
Well, he's trying to keep him under control. The 3-2 pitch, I mean, it looked like Liam Peterson gave everything he got just to throw it, and he missed. And so for him, calm down a little bit. He's been beat up in this inning so far, 2 doubles and a walk. Like you said, first 3 guys have reached base. So now you've got to calm your pitcher down and remind him that you got a 5-run lead.
Run in, 2 on, nobody out. And this is Goldbeck. Already with a bunt hit tonight, tries again. Testing that third base line this time.
Not a fan of bunting from first to second base, but in this situation with nobody out, you bunt the guys over to second and third. The next hitter, all he has to do is put it in the outfield for another run. A base hit scores 2. I don't mind the bunt in this situation.
See if they keep it on. They do. And again, he taps it foul. You can see the frustration with that body language for Goldbeck.
Well, he had an awesome bunt his first at bat, like you said, to the right side of the second baseman. But if you're going to bunt, show it early. Put a little angle on that barrel in case you foul it off. It doesn't go straight up in the air, but show it early. A lot of times we try to trick people as a hitter that we're going to bunt, and you're not set up and ready for the pitch.
Two strikes to Garrett Goldbeck. 98 up around the letters. Goldbeck was the National Junior College Defensive Player of the Year at Kansas City, Kansas Community College. He was projected to be the starting shortstop back in the fall, but had Tommy John 2 weeks before the season started. Breaking ball into right field. And they're going to go station to station. Bases loaded for Missouri. Thought they might send Basler, but they're going to hold him. And here comes the 3-hole hitter, Tyler Macon, with a chance to bring Missouri within a run.
I think getting blown up at third base in the first inning for the 3rd out influenced that decision right there. You're down by 5. There's no reason to force a run into the home plate and get thrown out again. And so nice job by the third base coach, Bryson LeBlanc, just to hold him up. Let's see if we can get a big inning here and not make any silly outs.
Swinging at the first pitch is Macon, who struck out his first time to the plate, pops it up into foul ground, and Lawson gets to it. That's a big out. Tyler Macon with a gift for this Florida defense, and Liam Peterson one away.
Yeah, huge, and a huge sigh of relief from Liam Peterson. Makes a pitch, gets the 2nd out, First out, sorry, which is huge for your confidence. But he's still having to navigate through the middle of this order. Caden Nicoletto, the 4-hole.
Transfer from Columbia College, just down the street there from the Missouri campus. Was an NAIA All-American last year. Hit a program record 27 homers in 2024. Healthy batting average with runners in scoring position. And he's ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. And Liam Peterson, who's all of a sudden run into trouble here in the 3rd inning after being staked a 6-run lead.
We saw that back in the 4th, him get a little erratic with his mind going in different directions with traffic on the bases, and it's happening again in this inning.
Now that Florida bullpen up and going. Billy Barlow, right-hander, starting to lather up. There's the fastball, 3-1 now to Caden Nicoletto, the big Australian. 3 hits in the inning. Started with back-to-back doubles. Healthy cut, now full count. You see the bases. Basler at 3rd, Knutson at 2nd, Goldbeck at 1st.
Now, what you would say, you got 98 in your back pocket. Why not just throw it right down the middle? Well, he's trying. And so that's a little concerning if you're Kevin O'Sullivan up by now 4 runs, that your pitcher's trying to, he's trying to split the plate right there, and he misses by however many inches that is. And again, when you're a little out of sync and out of control right there with a lead, it's got to be concerning.
Center fielder Pierre Seals back to the plate. He had a single to start the 2nd inning. Transfer from Memphis. Coming off a career day Tuesday night. 3 for 4 with a homer and 4 runs batted in. Chance to do a lot of damage here, representing the tying run. Trying to hold up, and he did. First base umpire Danny Cricks. Seals in center field tonight. Again, Caden Pierre is the normal center fielder, but he's out for the series concussion protocol. Just nicked the outside corner. 1-2. Well, Peterson can limit the damage to 2 runs. Be a big feather in his cap. And got him to go down swinging. Pierre Seals, kind of a half-hearted swing, and he's the 2nd out.
You like that recovery from Liam Peterson. His confidence has to be struggling a little bit in this inning, but now he just rears back and releases that 4-seamer right in a good spot. Pierre Seals with a strikeout. Now a ball in the outfield ends the inning. So that's huge to not give up a run with a guy standing over there at 3rd with less than 2 outs.
And Missouri's leading hitter is at the plate, Jackson Lovich, hitting .364 on the year. Lovich hitting .345 with 2 outs. .457 with runners in scoring position. This is the guy Missouri wants at the plate. Tapped it off his foot. 2 strikes. And remember, Lovich recovering from a calf injury, so he's already been hobbled in recent days.
Started every game for Missouri last year, hit 10 home runs. Drafted in the 19th round by the New York Mets back in 2022. Brother Eli already in the minor leagues with the Cubs.
There's Kevin O'Sullivan. We're going to be talking to him coming up next half inning. He's hoping his team has a 4-run lead. It's in jeopardy right now. The 0-2 pitch. Way outside. Good stop by Luke Heyman.
Yeah, and that was not intended to be a strike. That's going to try to get a swing and miss. Against right-handers, Liam Peterson does land that slider even more than he does his fastball at about 67%. So that's what you would think would be his go-to pitch here on the 1-2 count.
We'll see if Lovich is thinking the same thing. Called strike 3 on the outside corner. Back-to-back punch-outs for Peterson.
But I think we found a guy at the end of the game that we trust. Our two starters, you know, Liam and King have been good for us. I think we solidified our bullpen and, you know, moved some things around tonight, you know, in the lineup, and you know, maybe it looks a little bit better. So we still believe, and we're going to get this thing going.
We appreciate you. Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, guys.
Kevin O'Sullivan. He's very optimistic going forward. And his team has Blake Sear, Brody Donay, and Hayden Yost coming to hit here in the third inning. You know, the RPI coming into the day for Florida, Todd, 33. That's not bad. And it has potential to get even better as the schedule, the brutal SEC schedule, continues. And the magic number last year was 13. You know, 12-6 is hard to do, but it's certainly feasible.
Well, they play such a tough schedule within the state of Florida. You know, they play Miami, South Florida, Central Florida, the Florida State Series, 3 games. So last year they got beat by all those guys. This year they've done really well, including what we talked about earlier. Florida State, they've won 2 out of the 3. The one reason you know that Florida's going to climb out of this is the way he meant what he said, the pitching. And baseball is all pitching to me, and he's got them. I mean, Liam Peterson can go. Aiden King has been fantastic. They got a few bullpen pieces that can work. And we all know baseball is a roller coaster. He knows it better than anybody. And 1-11, LSU started off 3-12 last year and almost made a super regional. So we all know these stories of these teams that can battle out of it. And there's nowhere to go up from Florida, and I think you'll see them do it.
Blake Sear grounds out to third. Start the third inning.
You know what's impressive about that, Clay, is I played against Florida for a lot of years in the 90s, and they were always really good, as you can imagine. The first national championship ever by that Florida program, Kevin O'Sullivan, and that group in 2017. And that's impressive to me because of all the great teams they've had over the years.
They had a couple of runner-up finishes, too, during O'Sullivan's tenure. 9 College World Series appearances, all in the last 14 years under his leadership. Here's big Brody Donay with 1 out.
And he's not messing around either. He's got 3 of his former players on his staff. Buddy Monroe's the director of baseball operations. Michael Byrne, the all-time saves leader with Florida, is the student assistant coach. And Mike Rivera was the catcher on that 2017, is the director of player development. So they've got 3 guys on that staff that played at Florida.
Michael Byrne is great at the back end of a bullpen.
Slider was nasty.
1-2 to Brody Donay, and that's high. 2-2. Director of player development. Great behind the plate. Swung out and missed. Boy, Kellenbrink had a 1-2-3 12-pitch second inning. Gets Sear and Donay quickly here in the third. So he has retired 7 in a row.
Well, don't look now, but the freshman is growing up before our eyes. Yeah, how about that? I mean, after an explosion in the first inning, he's settled down. All of a sudden, he can concentrate a little more on his pitches instead of getting it all fuzzy with the environment. And he's pitched well.
Hayden Yost, a single and a run scored. Yost has been the center fielder after the injury to Kyle Jones, out for the year with a shoulder injury. They like Yost. They've been high on him since day one, but Kyle Jones was the guy that was going to be out in center field every game, and you can see his situation. And that's a 4-pitch walk. So a couple of quick outs in the third, and then Yost draws a walk in the 7th hole, and that'll bring up Ashton Wilson.
It just shows how mental this game is. I mean, Kellenbrink is just cruising along. Retired the last 7 guys, is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then a 4-pitch walk. And so you have a tendency with the 2 quick outs to relax a little bit, and you can't relax at all. And that's what you saw right there. Now you got to pick yourself back up. Remind yourself you're 1 out away from getting out of this inning.
Starts Wilson with a strike. Wilson had a double in the first inning. 6 runs on 6 hits in the first for Florida, but they haven't had a hit since. That's up and in.
Yeah, now Kellenbrink's starting to use that cutter into the right-handed hands, along with the four-seamer that he has. And we've seen him drop that changeup on him a few times, and that's very effective as well.
Well, tomorrow, freshman right-hander Aiden King is going to pitch for Florida. He's 3-1 with an ERA just above 3. And Missouri's going to send senior right-hander Caden Jacoby to the mound. It's a 6:30 Eastern start on SEC Network Plus. Runner goes, and it's popped up. And there's room for the first baseman, Lovich, and he makes the catch to end the inning. So Kellenbrink works around that walk to Yost. It's a clean third. Florida baseball and how it's been a tough season. Not a great start for the Gators. Well, that's kind of how they were talking about Florida football last year, remember? And, Billy Napier, they're going to run him out of town. And they end up winning 8 games, had a couple of big upsets late in the year, and the football team really managed to have a nice season. So
the huge question, Clay, is did they say that about the basketball coach this year?
No, I don't know that they ever did.
No.
What a year for Todd Golden and the basketball Gators. But I mean, things change. One day it's cloudy, the next day it's sunny.
And back to the baseball program, Kevin O'Sullivan knows that more than anybody. I mean, he has been to Omaha just about what feels like every year. They played for the national championship in 2023, lost to LSU. But he's been to the postseason every year he's been a head coach, and he knows that. He knows the ups and downs as well as anybody.
Cerna whacks it to second. Justin Nato fields it off his shoe top. Throws out Cerna, who's 0 for 2 tonight.
And he knows he has the pieces with this Florida Gator team. The pitching's there outside of the walks. Again, they're bottom of the barrel in walks, but they still have talent. KP texted me the other day. Kyle Peterson said, "You're going to really love this Aiden King guy, the freshman." And so you never really know what to expect from young kids. But for a guy like Aiden King to step up, in addition to Liam Peterson and the rest of the group that this Florida staff has, that they're going to turn this thing around. And again, I think of LSU last year. I think of Ole Miss in 2022, 6-14 through the first 20 games of the SEC. They win the national championship. So there's stories out there that you can relay to the team that it's definitely possible.
Sure is. Chris Patterson doubled to start the 3rd inning as Missouri scored twice against Peterson. Chris Patterson has burst onto the scene here the last couple of weeks for Mizzou. The freshman has driven in 13 runs in the 8 games prior to this one. And a guy, because of injuries, who's getting a chance to play. He was 2 for 5 with a triple and 3 runs batted in on Tuesday. And a guy that maybe Kerrick Jackson wouldn't know as much about if it weren't for these injuries, and you kind of alluded to that. There is a silver lining to what Missouri's going through.
Well, when you talk to both these coaches, they're not overly aggressively active in the transfer portal. They want to build from within, and I understand that. And it's directly tied to the NIL money, right? But that's what you would like about this Missouri team. If he can keep this group together. You asked him the question, Kerrick Jackson, if they've lost anybody, if they got picked off, from some of their players. And he said, no, we have who we want. And you just develop these guys. And you could reasonably assume in the future for Missouri, you're going to have some dudes with a lot of experience. And they're talented. They're just young.
Patterson looks at that strike. We'll talk with Kerrick in just a little bit. This is Peyton Basler. Peyton Basler, an RBI double. Second of the two switch hitters in the Missouri lineup tonight. Cerna the other one. High in the zone there, but just enough for strike two. Liam Peterson. It's his sixth strikeout.
Brock Lucas can really get some swing and misses on that changeup. 41% whiff percentage on that deal. So he sets up the changeup with the fastballs. And again, the key for both these teams, of course, but for Missouri is throw strike one, as you see right there.
So Florida came out great against the left-hander to start the game, but then cooled off as Kellenbrink settled in, and now dealing with the right-hander Brock Lucas. Has as many strikeouts as he has innings pitched.
And that's the way we used to have to do it, Clay, back before video. When I played, you had to look at the stat sheet. And if he had as many strikeouts or more than his innings pitched, then you knew he was a strikeout pitcher.
Justin Nadeau launches one to left. Hangs up there for Macon for the first out.
Which told me as a hitter, I've got to go earlier. So if you looked at Randy Johnson and he's got 30 innings, he's got 60 strikeouts. Okay, I better get on the first fastball I see, because if I hang around, I'm going to be buried. And so that's kind of how you used to tell, if you went early in the count or later in the count, depending on these guys. So 28 strikeouts, 28 innings for Brock Lucas. That's pretty good.
This is Bobby Bozer. 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Walked and scored the first inning. Last year, Missouri finished 23-32. Only 4 everyday starters came back from that team. There's pounded down the line past Patterson into the corner. Bozer is going to lope into second with a stand-up double with 1 out. Hit number 7 in the first since the first inning for the Gators.
Yeah, Bobby Bozer leads this team with 11 home runs. Right above 300 coming into this game, and gets a fastball middle in that he just lifts that front shoulder early. Recognizes the pitch and rips it down the left field line for a 1-out double. That's a nice piece of hitting right there, because that same swing does not work against a changeup away. And so you kind of have to have that educated guess along with the pitcher. He guessed right on the fastball, ripped it down the line.
And now Shelton. 1 for 2 tonight. 51 career homers for Shelton. I think the thing that is impressive about Colby Shelton this year is that his strikeouts are way down. Knocked down by Mateo Cerna. And Bozer has to stay put at second base. Shelton had 82 strikeouts a year ago for the Gators. And coming into this at bat, just 16 on the season.
You know, that's the one progression you see with hitters in college that more than anything else is cutting down on the strikeouts, the plate discipline. You see that with Jared Jones at LSU, big swing and miss guy. The Aloy kids over at Arkansas, big swing and miss guys early. And now they've started to develop more of an approach at the plate. The other impressive thing about Colby Shelton, he was a third baseman at Alabama. Now he moves over to the shortstop position. And to be able to maintain your offense while playing as good of a shortstop as he's played is pretty tough to do. And he's handled it really well.
Also taking more walks. And so now 2 on with 1 out for Lawson. This is down. Lawson 1 for 2, RBI single in the first. Now 38 runs batted in. Had a good game on Tuesday night against Florida State. Having a terrific freshman season. And 2-0. What is Lawson looking for here? Because Lucas has to tread carefully to this guy.
Yeah, and this is the situation where nowhere to put him, and you can reason, it's going to be a fastball. He doesn't want to walk him, doesn't want to get to 3-0, and then ultimately 3-1. So if you're a hitter, you're just trying to stay within yourself. Which means I don't get jumpy and I don't cheat the barrel to the zone. And now at 3-0, clearly take this pitch, and you're back in the same position you were at 2-0 when it's 3-1.
Outside, bases loaded. 8 straight out of the zone for Brock Lucas, who came out in relief this inning for Kellenbrink. And this is not what that man had in mind.
No. That's the third walk in the last 6 hitters. And we talked about this early in this game. Both these teams have had issues with giving up walks, and that is a stat that's directly correlated to your record. The team that gives up the most walks usually has the worst record. And I've tracked that over the years, and it's true. You've got to throw strikes.
This is in the first inning what Luke Heyman did, a 3-run homer. He can best that with 1 swing here in the 4th.
4th RBI for Luke Heyman. And he's set up to have a big game. Man, walks just kill. And 4 hitters in a row for Florida after that huge first inning have reached base.
Now the bullpen is stirring and getting active as Mateo Cerna comes out, as does the rest of the infield, to chat here with Brock Lucas. Buy some time for that pen.
Well, and this is the decision now. Yeah, you don't want to be using up 5 or 6 guys on a Thursday night, game 1 of a 3-game series. And so you want to use the word give up, but do you just hope for the best with the guy you have out there, save your pen, or do you keep rolling guys out there and try to stop the bleeding?
Well, Lucas was a starter early on in the year, just didn't go well. They like him better as a reliever. I'm sure they were hoping to get quite a few innings out of him here tonight, because he has been stretched out from time to time.
Blake Sear hit his 5th home run in the first inning.
1 for 2 with that solo homer. One pitch. Strike. 1-2.
There is a very nice competitive changeup. 85 miles an hour right on that outside low corner. And that's what you're talking about when you're talking about command and trying to throw pitches that hitters just have trouble with. Now what does he come back with to try to get the swing and miss?
In the dirt, Cerna is blocked. Florida left 31 runners on base in the series against Vandy last week.
This is
doing
the
a good job
pitch.
Getting runs in tonight.
Yeah, this is the action pitch. You have to make something happen here. You do not want to get to a 3-2 fastball count against this guy who's already gone deep in this game.
Go back to the first inning. This is what Sear did right after Heyman left the yard.
They tell you as a pinch hitter, go early. And that's what Stripling does. What a nice feeling to come off the bench and you're 1 for 1. Especially with 2 stakes on the back end. And Florida extends their lead to 9, and we're only in the 4th inning. Almost a nice play by Lovich. That's their best infielder playing over there at first base with the minor injury that he has. Wasn't able to make the play, and 2 more across for Florida.
This is Hayden Yost again. Yost 1 for 1. Also reached on a walk. Crushed it, but it's well fouled. Now, what does that tell you right there?
What, a foul ball?
Yeah, just how well he's seeing it.
Oh, well, yeah, but you obviously would like to keep it fair. If you're out in front that much, that gives the pitcher some options to drop that off speed on you. Like that.
Yep.
So that's what makes hitting difficult. You gotta that lead shoulder leaves a little early to be able to, and you guessed right, like I said earlier, and then you pop it foul. Now you have to change your mindset completely and think, all right, the pitcher's not giving me that pitch again. I got to look the other way and stay back, let the ball travel over the plate.
Pounded to first. Lovich will toss it over to Lucas. And Missouri finally gets the 3rd out, but another big inning.
Hear that voice from Dari, it kind of gets me fired up. You know, I dominate him in ping pong, so get a chance next week to go into studio and do some damage.
Here's a look at Liam Peterson's line. The sophomore through 4 innings has just given up the 2 runs. He's gone 6 innings a couple of times this year. You get the feeling that, you know, even with the big lead, that's what Kevin O'Sullivan would like to get out of his right-hander tonight.
Yeah, and the pitch count's manageable. 77 pitches so far, and you're right. I mean, part of the ace's job is to get some length out of him, and with a 7-run lead, I mean, they're going to let Liam Peterson go as long as he can without hurting him, and of course getting the pitch count too high. But his job now, again, with an extended lead for me, is just throw fastballs in there, don't waste any pitches, and try to last a little longer in this game.
He walked a couple in the 3rd inning, and no coincidence, those are the walks that helped propel Missouri to some offense in that inning. It scored twice. Walk 3 here tonight.
I like that take by Knutson. The 3-1 is also going to be the 3-2.
In on the hands that hit him. So he comes back to fill out the count, but then ultimately loses Knutson with the pitch inside.
Yeah, he's too often with the leadoff hitter with no outs. You see him go after that 3-1 and get yourself out. So he takes 3-1 and then makes Liam Peterson throw 3 strikes in a row, and he just can't do it. The 3rd one gets away from him. Leadoff base runner on for Missouri.
Garrett Goldbeck, couple of hits tonight for Missouri, 2 of their 5 hits. Now we've seen Goldbeck try to bunt a couple of times as you look at the Florida pen. Billy Barlow up for the 2nd time tonight. Now that the lead is 7 for Florida, can't imagine Goldbeck's going to be doing the bunt maneuver again.
Unless he can get the base hit out of it. 3rd baseman is close to the grass, so you see him that close. It creates angles on the left side of the infield, but they're taking the bunt away for sure.
Runner goes, and that is foul. Well, hit and run here for Missouri.
I don't mind that. Try to stay out of double play. But again, this shows you what Missouri and Kerrick Jackson kind of have to do is manufacture some offense.
Slow roller, won't be 2. They're going to have to go to first for the out there. Knutson now at second base with one down. And Tyler Macon will come up for the third time tonight.
Good job by Nato. That's a decision. The ball dictates the double play. And you almost got the feeling and looked like he might try to force that throw to second. You got a 7-run lead, which plays into it. Just get the out, and nice decision by the second baseman, which is not always easy.
First pitch to Macon is outside. Now, Liam Peterson at 86 pitches. It's about his season average. He has hit 95 a couple of times this year, but hasn't gone over that. But again, with a big lead, you wonder if O'Sullivan would try to get him to 100 or more. I think the 6 innings is a psychological plateau they'd like him to reach.
Yeah, and the feedback he gives it, Sully, is a big deal too. And the pitching coach, David Kopp. So, that spot he's hitting right there is the Tom Glavine fastball on the outside corner. Yeah, right there. I live right there. Miss a little bit, bring it back over the outside corner of the plate. And again, don't waste any pitches on non-competitive off speed. Just try to hit that corner with that 97, 98.
There's David Kopp.
No. Played at Clemson.
2-2, got it. Macon reaching for it. Comes up empty, 2 down, and that's a big out for Liam Peterson tonight.
He struck him out twice. Once looking in the first, and now fastball on the outside corner. 7 strikeouts tonight from Liam Peterson, and that's a good approach. Now he's facing the left-hander, but I still think the plan stays the same. Just keep pumping that fastball.
Nicoletto skips it to Nato, and Peterson on one pitch retires the cleanup man. So he hits Knutson to start the inning, but works. Gators have a nice lead here tonight in game 1 of this series. And selling a lot of those national championship shirts around town. Ashton Wilson, Justin Nato, and Bobby Bozer, 8, 9, and 1. Wilson a double in 2 trips. Boy, quick work. Brock Lucas makes of Ashton Wilson. 1 down.
Yeah, this is only Ashton Wilson's 8th start. Right field, and it's tough to get going sometimes. If you just sporadically put in these lineups, especially some against some of these better pitchers.
Nato 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Lucas came in last inning for Missouri on the mound, gave up 3 runs on 3 hits. Walked a couple. Popped up on the infield. The pitcher calling for it, now being called off by the third baseman Patterson, and that's the smart play. I know a pitcher wants to handle that, but that is the infielder's call. Well, Saturday afternoon, number 2 Oklahoma, number 22 Alabama. Starting a softball series, game 1 coverage begins at 4 Eastern on ESPN2. Sunday's game 6 Eastern right here on the SEC Network. Finish up the series Monday night on SEC Network at 7 Eastern. Should be 3 really good games between Oklahoma and Alabama, 2 of the great programs in college softball.
Man, there's a lot to like about Chris Patterson. We've seen him make a couple nice plays at third base. Only a freshman. And when you start running in and that mound is a part of that play and your feet start moving around, it is tough to keep your concentration, not to mention all the other infielders crowding you. And that kid right there has been really impressive tonight defensively.
Star in the making. Ooh, look out. Buzzed the tower of Bobby Bozer. And again, Patterson otherwise probably wouldn't be playing if everybody were healthy on the Missouri infield. So taking advantage of the situation, and that does hit him. Bozer takes that one off the arm pad, and now having words with Brock Lucas as he takes a slow walk to first.
Yeah, clearly no reason to hit him. I think Brock Lucas just has proven that on some pitches he's just out of control with 2 outs. It would be the time to do it. 2 outs, nobody on, but I can't imagine that he did that on purpose. He just threw it right over his head a few pitches before, and Brock Lucas has just got a little loose.
Colby Shelton been on twice tonight. Single and a walk. First hit battered tonight by either Kellen Brink or Lucas. And the runner's gone. Stolen base for Bozer.
Yeah, like almost a delayed steal, and it is a 7-run lead. We're still playing baseball, but keep in mind that the 10-run rule is in effect, and the more you can shorten a game, the better you are for the rest of the weekend. For Florida, they're trying to get to that 12 runs.
We're talking about how Shelton's strikeout numbers have really dropped since last season. 82 strikeouts last year, just 16 this year.
And I think a good indication of that was the 1-0 pitch. That was a perfect changeup from Brock Lucas, and Shelton just spit all over it. And again, on a 1-0 count as a hitter, you're looking for a fastball, and when they throw that changeup that looks like a fastball, you get a lot of swing and misses. And again, Colby Shelton didn't even blink. So that shows you the maturity he has had at the plate, almost 100 points higher. And again, I wasn't very smart, but when I got to LSU, my first thought was don't strike out. You put 100 balls in play, you're going to hit for a high average. And so that's why the focus should be on a 2-strike approach, where I'm cutting down my swing, keeping my eyes still, maybe spreading out a little bit, choking up, expanding the zone. And that's what Colby Shelton has done, and it's made him a great hitter.
And he was streaky last year, Todd. Even though he hit 254, he still had 20 homers and 56 runs batted in. But there were some stretches during the season where he was very quiet. He's been more consistent this year, and he draws a walk there on 5 pitches.
Well, and the last thought I'll have on that is he hit 25 home runs as a freshman at Alabama. So when you have a home run guy, then you're more likely, to get long and just fall in love with the home run. And so his ability to stay under control and manage that whole situation has been really impressive, including, playing shortstop.
Brendan Lawson. He's been on a couple times tonight. Two runs scored. To the second baseman, gobbled up by Basler. He'll throw to first. And Florida is denied here in the 5th inning. They'll strand. Well, the Florida bullpen was really good on Tuesday in that win over Florida State. Jackson Barberry was the starter, went 3 innings, gave up just the 1 run. And then the bullpen held the Noles to 2 runs in 6 innings. And McDonald was a part of that, as Pierre Seals leads it off. 1 for 2. Kevin O'Sullivan alluded to this when we talked to him a couple of innings ago. Jake Clemente got his first career save in that game against Florida State. 2 innings, no runs, 4 strikeouts. And that's what he meant by, I think we found our closer. And there's Jake Clemente, and he's another guy who's dealt with some health issues this year. He's finally healthy, and maybe the piece they were looking for at the end of the bullpen. How about Caden McDonald coming in and quickly striking out Pierre Seals for the first out of the 6th.
Yeah, attacking the zone early, finishing him off with the fastball, and that is got a little tail to it coming into the hands, but right down Broadway, and enough velocity behind it that Pierre Seals not able to catch up.
1 out for Lovich. Lovich was a question mark before the game tonight because of a calf injury. Their leading hitter this season. He has looked really good at first base tonight, but they missed him last week during the Arkansas series. I don't know that his presence would have made much of a difference considering they were outscored 51-9 by the Razorbacks, but you know, Lovich is a key piece.
Well, he's the rock in this lineup for sure. He's been at Missouri the last 3 years. 6'4", 190, big kid, and really athletic around the infield. Hit the 10 home runs last year, and he's on a heater so far in his last 80 at-bats, hitting over 440.
Hitless tonight. The team best 12 multi-hit games. Jumps on this one, drives it to center. Coming on is Yost. He makes the catch on the jog. 2 down. Well, this week's SEC Network game features number 17 Vandy and number 19 Oklahoma. Start of a 3-game series tomorrow night on the SEC Network. Coverage begins at 8 Eastern from Norman, Oklahoma. A lot of top 25 head-to-head games in the SEC this weekend. Of course, Arkansas is at number 7 Georgia. That series starts tomorrow. Arkansas now number 1 in the country, as Mateo Cerna is out on 1 pitch. And Caden McDonald with a very tidy 1-2-3 6th inning. The great Todd Walker. I'm Clay Matvick as we move to the 6th inning, bottom of the 6th for Florida. Luke Heyman, Blake Sear, and Landon Stripling, the scheduled hitters.
Luke Heyman already with 2 hits in this game was by far the best hitter for Florida within the conference. And again, I love looking at the stats within the conference because we know this is the best conference in college baseball. And if you can do some damage in the SEC, then you can play. Luke Heyman hitting now over 400 in the conference.
Deep third, Chris Patterson showing off that arm. Again, the rookie plays like an upperclassman. 1 up, 1 down.
Man, he's had about 4 plays over there, and even that one that's routine. I mean, you got to rear back and throw a bullet, and a lot of times for freshmen, it can get away from you, just trying to throw it too hard. And Chris Patterson has just stayed within himself. He's been really fun to watch at third base tonight.
Sear jumps on the first pitch to center field, tracking it down as Seals lost his footing a bit, but holds on to the baseball. 2 down.
Sear to Seals for the 2nd out, and that ball was a missile. They don't ever even out. So you hit way more balls on the nose that get caught than you ever get cheap hits. And that's just a tough one. Like Sear, it started off good for him. Home run in the first, but since then 0 for 3.
Well, Donay started the game as the designated hitter. He was pinch hit for after a couple of strikeouts by Landon Stripling, who comes up again. And Stripling, his at bat in the 4th inning was impressive. Cold off the bench, first pitch. Drives in 2 runs with a base hit. Stripling made 24 starts last year as a freshman at Texas Tech. He has started 23 games this year. Sophomore out of Lawrenceville, Georgia. Last year at Texas Tech, it just wasn't consistent enough. Didn't get the playing time I think he had hoped for. He was a .253 hitter. Hit a handful of home runs, 20 runs batted in, but was looking for new surroundings. And he entered the portal, and Florida scooped him up. And his chopped foul.
Well, I don't know if you can ever have too many left-handed pitchers and left-handed bats. You can always plug them in certain situations. And, for Stripling, especially if you can do that pinch hitting job, that is difficult. Got thrown in this game back in the 4th inning and immediately ripped a base hit to right. 2 RBIs.
So Florida will go to Mississippi State next weekend. Hasn't been a banner year for the Bulldogs this year, but starting to come together. Took a series from South Carolina last week. Full count. There's that schedule again for Florida. You can see it's no cakewalk.
No, I think just about any team you pick out in the SEC and you throw their schedule up there, it's going to be rough to look at. But yeah, that one for Florida, wow. Texas and Arkansas.
Into the shift. And good stretch at first base by Lovich, but they say he was off the bag. So Stripling is aboard with 2 outs as Lovich couldn't keep his foot on first base.
Yeah, except you don't think he would ask for the replay unless he knew he held it. Let's see again if his foot is off. It's clearly off. We don't get a shot of when he actually caught the baseball, but Danny Crick saw it, first base umpire. I don't guess he's asking to challenge it, but I don't know if Kerrick Jackson wants to do that here in the 6th for a 2-out base hit. Or error, I should say.
Yeah, it is going to be an error. First of the game for Missouri. Again, they had 8 errors on Tuesday night against SIU Edwardsville. Back up the middle. Knutson steps on the bag easily to end the inning. So Florida's done in the 6th, leading by 7. Florida and then Liam Peterson pretty good through 5 innings, and Florida has a 9-2 lead as we head to the 7th.
6 runs in the first for Florida. I mean, it was a fireworks show early. Kellen Brink actually settled down for a few innings and gave way to Brock Lucas, but Florida able to tack on a few more and now up by 7.
Kate McDonald had just a 9-pitch inning in the 6th inning. Retires Seals, Lovich, and Cerna quickly. Now Patterson, Basler, and Knutson 8, 9, and 1 to hit for Missouri. They have just 5 hits tonight. Had back-to-back doubles to start the 3rd inning. Led to 2 runs. But otherwise pretty quiet for the Missouri offense, which came into the night hitting .284 as a team. 11th out of 16 teams in the league. So Patterson with a double and now a walk as he's aboard here in the 7th. And this is the stuff right here that just kills Kevin O'Sullivan. You can see it on his face.
Yeah, and Clay, you said it between innings, like, why, if you're Missouri, why are we going up and swinging at the first pitch? I mean, Florida has as much of a walk problem as Missouri does. let them self-implode if they're going to do it. There's 4 pitches in a row, so if you're Peyton Basler in the 9 spot right here, I've got to take maybe all the way to 2 strikes.
And just clipped the outside corner. Basler, an RBI double and a strikeout. Basler was at Charleston Southern, Kansas City, Kansas Community College before coming to Mizzou. Flicks that one foul, and now McDonald is right where he wants to be at 0-2.
Yeah, good recovery by Cade McDonald. 2 sinkers right on the outside corner for Peyton Basler, the 9 spot.
Looking forward to seeing Aiden King pitch for Florida tomorrow. I know you are too. 3-1 with a 3.12 ERA. It's outside 2-2.
Yeah, he's a guy that was in the bullpen early, but they figured out, man, this guy can start for us. He's got dynamic stuff, and now all of a sudden in the 2 slot, I mentioned earlier on, Pierce Capola was supposed to be their number 2, 6'8" left-hander. He's out probably for the year, if not. They hope to get him back at the end, like you mentioned, but you know, in the meantime, they've got to fill some holes, and Aiden King has done a nice job in that two position on the weekends.
Missouri's going to go with their senior Caden Jacoby, a right-hander, and then both teams TBA for Saturday. Flash foul again. Boy, look out in that dugout. That got somebody, I think. you gotta have your head on a swivel.
Yeah,
you're not paying attention, you could get really injured.
Yeah, I had one of those in Cincinnati. Brandon Larson was leaning over, and I fouled one off the opposite way and took him out, broke his arm.
Oof.
Yeah.
Basler is out. Nice play by Bobby Bozer. We saw him do that last week against Vanderbilt a couple of times with his back to the infield.
Yeah, nice recovery by Caden McDonald. Again, you don't want to get it out of hand by just throwing balls and falling behind guys. Quick recovery, too. It was the 9-hole, so automatically as a pitcher you feel a little more confident. But 4-pitch walk to the 8, and it's Basler for the first out.
Back to the top of the order in Knutson. Swing and a miss. Knutson struck out against Liam Peterson in the first inning, walked in the third, then was hit by a pitch in Peterson's last inning. First time facing somebody else.
I love what Kerrick Jackson told us about this guy, too. He's a baseball rat. So he gets to the ballpark, he goes and shakes Kerrick's hand. When the practice or the day's over, he goes back in, shakes his hand again. You know, plays shortstop, so he walks around shaking umpires' hands and just loves to be there. He's the guy that you hear about that shows up earlier than anybody else, leaves later, and just loves being around the ballpark.
Yeah, and another guy who wasn't in the picture to start at the beginning of the year, and he's taken advantage of the opportunity.
Yeah, transferred in from San Jacinto Junior College last couple of years, hit 350 there.
Fly ball, foul ground, long run, Lawson. His back to the infield, won't get there. Drops on the warning track.
That's that ball down the right field line. When a right-hander hits it, it's got that backspin that is constantly moving. As you're running toward it, it's moving more toward the out of bounds there. And you know, Lawson giving it chase, but he's never going to catch up to it.
Nothing in 2 to Keegan Knutson. Talked about #1 Arkansas at Georgia this weekend. That series starts tomorrow night. After the sweep of Missouri, the Razorbacks #1 for the first time this season. Georgia got swept by Texas last week, so they want to get that bad taste out of their mouth. Inside 1-2, and then #2 Texas, after getting that sweep of the Bulldogs at Kentucky. That starts tomorrow night too. How about the job Jim Schlossnagle has done immediately to bring Longhorns baseball back to real national prominence? That was a really good at bat for Knutson. Saw a ton of pitches. And now Missouri has 2 on with 1 out, and the number 2 hitter Goldbeck at the plate.
A lot of times hitters become better versions of themselves, better hitters with 2 strikes. You choke up a little bit, you become quicker, you spread out. You know, no longer is the load and all these home runs to the pull side in your mind. You're just trying to survive and make contact. And great job right there with 2 strikes by Knutson to just stay within himself, rip it up the middle.
Kevin O'Sullivan's going to take the ball away from Caden McDonald. He wants to make a pitching change here with 2.
It's a lot of swing and misses against the right-handers with that slider, almost 60%. Doesn't strike out a ton of guys, though. 26 strikeouts in the 29 and a third. ERA is a little elevated, but again, with a 7-run lead, all you're hoping from these guys is to throw strikes. You don't give them any free passes. Don't fall behind hitters.
He starts Goldbeck out with a strike. 2 on, 1 out. Missouri hasn't scored since the 3rd inning. Goldbeck a couple of hits tonight. That's chopped foul, so nothing in 2. Boy, Texas A&M seems to have figured things out after a rough start to their year in conference play. King Sorrell back healthy, and they look like they're going to be tough to deal with here in the second half.
I look at Texas A&M a lot like this Florida team. Like A&M has the arms. Ryan Prager last year was one of the best.
To first, and a collision, ball comes loose. And everybody's safe. And now Florida is going to challenge this, I would assume. Maybe not. I'm going to say that
he's in the path, right? I mean, he takes off. Oh, he stopped. I didn't see that. That might be trouble. Clearly, he wasn't trying to distract or to interfere, but that looks exactly like what happened. And
you can see some of the infielders. Yeah, you can see some of the Florida infielders kind of looking around like, are we going to do anything about this? And they're not. So bases loaded for Macon. That's going to be an error on the first baseman, Lawson. To second, line drive. And right into the glove of Nadeau. 2 down. And so that's a huge break for Florida.
Well, yeah, that was bases loaded, and you hit one right at somebody. Tough luck for Missouri here in the 7th.
Now Nicoletto. Well, even though it's outside, that's the pitch that Heyman wanted. You can see his communication there with Barlow, who has come in out of the bullpen, trying to put out the fire here in the 7th. Bases loaded, 2 outs. The 1-2 to Nicoletto.
Great tailing fastball on that one. Low and away. Nicoletto on a 1-2 pitch. That sets up anything inside, but the problem with that is, as a pitcher, you don't want to hit them. And so it kind of, as a hitter, you know that as well, and it kind of eliminates the inside fastball. And you just look out and away, but he's set up inside.
Hit hard to second again. Nadeau to first. And Missouri leaves him loaded in the 7th as Billy Barlow does a measure here in the 7th for Florida. And Wilson tries to bunt his way on. 1 for 3 with the double.
Yeah, rightfully so. Looks up, sees Patterson back on the dirt, and it's open for you. I love these hitters that at least look down there, and you know it's a free hit if you can execute the bunt and just put it in a good spot. But even if you don't, that brings that third baseman in, and it creates that angle on the left side. Easier to get a ground ball through.
Brock Lucas, starting his 4th inning of work, came in to begin the 4th. He's given up 3 runs on 3 hits. He's also walked 3. That's been a problem for him tonight. And he hit about it. Tries the bunt again. This is a good one. Lucas falling down.
Wow.
Got him, and that time Lovich did keep his foot on the bag.
I mean, what a play by the pitcher, Brock Lucas. And also the back end of that with Lovich with the stretch. I mean, gets him by half a step, and to jump off that, it looked like a great bunt. I thought he was going to have to put it in his back pocket. He was going to be safe, and Mizzou makes the play.
Now they're going to review it. I think, you know, the call on the field is going to stand. Lovich kept his foot on the bag that time. You remember earlier there was a play from deep second base that he wasn't able to keep his foot on the base, and he wanted to review. Missouri didn't review it. This time Florida is asking to get this call reversed. I think it's pretty clear.
Yeah, I think he's out, and that's a big kid at first base, 6'4". Lovich, and times that out perfectly. Earlier in the deal, I think he stretched a little early, pulled his foot off the bag. This time, probably learned from the last one you were talking about, and is able to keep his right foot on the bag with that stretch. But again, that pitcher, Brock Lucas, jumping off the mound and making an accurate throw while he's falling down. That was an all-star play for the Missouri defense.
You know, as poorly as things have gone in this 0-12 start in SEC play for Missouri, you can see why, you know, Kerrick Jackson has reasons to be optimistic at times about this team. So many good things we've seen this team do here tonight. And here comes the call. So the call stands, 1 down. Here's Justin Nato. Nato 0 for 3, but a ringing single to center with 1 out here in the 7th. That is hit number 10 with the Florida Gators.
And that turns the lineup over to leadoff guy Bobby Bozer. The top 4 hitters in this Florida lineup have scored 7 of these 9 runs. And for Brock Lucas now to navigate through this group, it'll be tough.
Bozer's 1 for 2, but he's been on 3 times. Walked in the 1st, doubled in the 4th, hit by pitch in the 5th inning. Scored twice. Lucas will throw over to 1st. So the Florida Gators, if they can ride this one to the finish line, will be 22-14 and 2-11 in the SEC. They've run their record to 18-7 at home.
And a lot of times as a hitter, when that pitcher picks off, it told me as a hitter he's throwing off speed. He's coming with it. That's not always true, but baseball is just a game of percentages. And if you're the hitter and they try to pick off and the guy only has 4 stolen bases on the year, it was trying to set up his off speed. Trying to keep him close so he didn't steal the bag on that off speed pitch.
Runner doesn't go. Off speed again. Down in the dirt, 1-2. Did you get burned by that from time to time?
You get burned by everything in baseball from time to time, but you play the high percentages, and like with a guy on second and I came to the plate, that first pitch from that pitcher was going to be something off speed, and it's not always true, but you would look for it. Now with 2 strikes, you got to stop guessing. I call it an educated guess, and you just start reacting. But before that, yeah, I mean, you can look for a pitch, and if you get it and it's over the zone, you just don't miss it.
1-2 to Bozer. Ripped into left field, base hit. Rounding second, holding there is Nadeau. Here come the Gators again, and Colby Shelton could now end this with one big swing of the bat. Remember, the 10-run rule would be in play here in the 7th inning.
10 hits for Florida. Also 11 hits now with that rip to left field. And you're right, 2, 3, 4 coming up for Florida, and Colby Shelton definitely capable of going deep. More than 20 home runs the last 2 years.
Shelton's 1 for 2. A couple of walks as well. 6 home runs on the year for Shelton. 51 in his career. Amazing, though. Still 25 behind Jack Caglione's school record.
He's set up on it on this pitch right here. Nah, I didn't throw it over the plate. Now even more setup, because now Brock Lucas has nowhere to go but over the middle of the plate. And the only hard part as a hitter is you don't get jumpy and anxious and cheat, which means you pull your front side out too early. But if you get the timing right, you know what pitch is coming. Game could be over.
Well, there's no activity in the Missouri bullpen. Absolutely no movement down there. So it's Brock Lucas's game right now. He's chatting with Mateo Cerna.
Like you said, didn't miss ending this game by about 5 feet, but Missouri's still in trouble here in the 7th with only 1 out.
Now Lawson lays off that high pitch. Lawson is 1 for 3. Hit sharply to left, and Brock Daniels is there to make the catch for the 2nd out. Hit right on the screws by Lawson. Now they're 2 down for Heyman.
Well, we saw Missouri in the top of the 7th, 2 in a row, bullet to second twice with one hopper in the inning, and now Florida gets paid back with a missile out to left field, a 3-hole loss, and that would have ended the game with 2 outs. Now the best hitter in the SEC for Florida, Luke Heyman.
Missouri trying to avoid being beaten in 7 innings for the 4th consecutive SEC game. Arkansas swept the series. All of the games were 10-run rule. A jam shot that's going to get into foul territory, and it's dropped. Lovich can't hang on to it. He kind of runs into the pitcher, Lucas. Lucas may have made a mistake there. It's probably Lovich's ball to play. And as it happens, Heyman's going to get another shot.
Sometimes being an athlete has its disadvantages. We saw what Brock Lucas did on that bunt. I mean, to his right side, making excellent play. And why he's involved in this play right here with 2 defenders, I don't know. But he got over there quick, and he wanted that baseball. Lovich looked like, he would have been able to make the play, but nonetheless, Florida with new life.
Heyman has driven in 4 tonight. Can he drive in the game winner? Two balls and a strike to the big catcher. Holds up. It's 3-1. They're going to appeal. First base umpire Danny Cricks again says no, he didn't.
And you got to like some of the spots Brock Lucas has put these last 3 baseballs in. Sinker inside that jammed him up. And then the fastball right above the belt that he doesn't get a bite on. And then that slider looked like a strike on the outside corner. Either way, great pitch.
It's down, walked him. And so Blake Sear, who also has a home run tonight, will stride to the plate, and he'll try to end it.
And that zone got tight now with 2 outs. Those last 2 pitches were right there. Brock Lucas has to be wondering, what do I have to do?
That solo home run came in the first inning. The 6-run first inning. Florida has been playing from in front ever since. Jumps on the first pitch.
Good one. Change up, first pitch. I mean, Brock Lucas is dancing. Got the slider on the outside corner, elevated 4 seams, change ups. Doing all he can do.
Two on. The 0-1 from Lucas. Outside corner. That's been a strike all night for Ryan Broussard. And now 0-2 to Sear. Struck him out, and we play on. Florida gets 2 in the... A lot to feel much better about the win over Florida State. That was a big step in the right direction. 5-4 win over the Seminoles. And they take that series. Strike at the knees, 0-2. And
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Tom.
Well, I was just going to say, Florida's got the pieces. I mean, they've got the parts that you could totally see where they would turn this thing around. We saw that with LSU last year, 2022. We've already talked about Ole Miss, 6-14 in the league. They win the national championship out of that. And you start looking at teams. For Missouri, it's a rebuild, young kids just trying to develop for years to come. But for Florida, for Texas A&M, for Mississippi State that haven't actually started the way they had hoped, they've all got the pieces to make this run.
They throw down to first to retire Pierre Seals. Strikeout for Barlow. That's his first tonight. And you couple that with that Miami series victory back in March. Florida has state bragging rights again this year. I mean, it's all about SEC play right now, but that's certainly something that the Gators can again hang their hat on. Get batter. Lovich is on. Well, Sunday, the Rally Cap crew breaks down the SEC in baseball and softball. All the weekend highlights, analysis, and more. We'll get you set for the upcoming week 2 with a look at the best matchups. Coverage begins at 8 Eastern right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Along with Todd Walker, I'm Clay Matvick. We're in the 8th inning. As Missouri has a man on with 1 out. Billy Barlow just hit Jackson Lovich. Lovich already limping because of a calf injury. He also fouled one off his foot earlier tonight, so he's going to be in the cold tub after this game. Mateo Cerna at the plate. Missouri catcher. And he's quickly behind in the count. 1 strike. Cerna has been struggling against SEC pitching. He is 0 for 3 tonight. Came into the game with a 0.98 average against SEC pitching. just 4 hits. With that said, 3 have been homers. They've got a lot of power. Switch hitter. Power from both sides. Rips it to first. That's 1. And not going to get a double play. Lovich, I don't know that he knew that was going to be as close as it was. Went in there standing up.
Yeah, nice play by Lawson, though, just to get 1 out. Up by 9. Again, you don't want to do anything crazy by trying to go to second first with the throw. And you're right. I mean, Lovich easily could have been tagged on that play.
Wow. That was way.
It gets picked up. You're not picking up the third base coach. You're just kind of on your own on that one. And I think he got surprised that the play was actually made.
2 outs. Here's Patterson. The freshman has had a nice night. Double and a run scored. It's 1 for 2. Has also made a couple of nice plays in the field. Freshman out of Frisco, Texas. His average up over 300 now at 306. It's going to be hard to get this guy out of the lineup now. Marlowe sets the 0-2 in the dirt. Knocked down. Lovich is going to stay at second.
Yeah, a lot to like about this kid, Chris Patterson. We know Jackson Lovich is a mainstay here in that Missouri lineup. And then, of course, Garrett Goldbeck, Gold Glove defender that's just hurt going down the DH role. But there's a few pieces in this Missouri lineup that are really impressive.
So far in the month of April, Missouri's 3-3. Last year, the Tigers came out of an awful March to go 10-8, including a sweep of Florida in April. And this seems to be a lost cause here tonight. I guess anything could still happen, but Missouri's running out of outs. But 2 more games left in this series, and that's what, again, Kerrick Jackson's just hoping for, is that they can continue to play better each and every game. Build for the end of the season. 3-2 pitch. Called strike 3. Marlowe got him looking. A couple of strikeouts in the inning.
And that ace for them is really good. One of the best in the league.
Leonard Stripling leading it off here against Brock Lucas. It's one thing for Missouri here tonight. If things stay the way they are, they're going to use just 2 pitchers in this ball game. Popped up. It's Brock Daniels in left field now. He makes the catch for the first out. We'll bring up Hayden Yost. Yeah, Vandy, Oklahoma. That's a hot, top 25 head-to-head. Number 5, Tennessee at number 6, Ole Miss. That series starts tomorrow. LSU at Auburn, 3 versus 11, respectively. That'll be a good series in Auburn.
You know what's great about that one? Auburn has Sam Dutton, who was at LSU for the past few years. Now he's the ace, doing well at Auburn. And, if you asked him, I'm sure he would say that he didn't love his situation at LSU. Now he gets to face them. That's interesting. We're going to find out a lot about Georgia this weekend. Arkansas comes in as hot as anybody in the country, and Georgia's been just crushing the baseball. He got 87 home runs as a team, leads the nation. The staff, Wes Johnson, who's a pitching guy, the staff at Georgia hasn't really caught up to the offense, but that's a great series, Arkansas and Georgia.
And number 2, Texas at Kentucky. That's also starting tomorrow night. That won't be easy for the Longhorns. Kentucky's, by most measurements a top 25 team, even though they have fallen out of the rankings now. That is scorched to second. Look at Basler making a nice play. Peyton Basler from the outfield grass spun around after that torpedo hit off the bat of Hayden Yost.
You have to read this one right at contact. And Basler does a fantastic job of seeing he's going to get the short hop, gives ground with it. And on the right side of the infield, you're able to do that. Shortstop can't really, give ground. They've got to come up and take the short hop. But at second base, if you can read it quick enough, just give ground. And it still was not an easy play, but the right move by Basler for the second out. That was a great play.
Again, Florida out of challenges, so maybe earlier in the game that's something they would have looked at again, but not here. Here's Ashton Wilson, bat in hand, ready to hit again. With 2 outs here in the 8th inning.
Had the double back in the first inning. Never loved these games, Clay, where you get you're hit your first time up, you're 1 for 1, you're feeling pretty good about yourself, and then 3 duds. And now you're coming up your 5th time and saying, wait a second, when I thought I was going to have a big game, I'm 1 for 1, I'm about to go 1 for 5. I mean, these are the thoughts that go through your head as a hitter, and so now you're really grinding it out, trying to get that second hit here at this at bat.
Ashton Wilson taking his time getting into the box. One for 4 with a double. That was in the first, as Todd alluded to. Game 2 of this series tomorrow. It starts at 6:30 Eastern on SEC Network Plus. Todd and I will be back Saturday on the SEC Network for Game 3. Boy, that is roped down the line and off the base of the wall for Wilson. He's going to hustle into second and won't get there. Brock Daniels played it beautifully off the wall, and a laser to get Wilson trying to stretch a single into a double.
Well,
last
Ashton
chance
Wilson
for
gets his
Mizzou.
second hit. Last chance for Mizzou as we go to the top of the 9th.
The freshman gave up 4 runs in 2 appearances in the Vanderbilt series. So not spectacular stuff, but just trying to get 3 outs here and get Florida on to Game 2 tomorrow.
Not a lot of action. 11 2/3 with 14 strikeouts. Fastball is 90 to 93. His out pitch is that changeup, especially the left-handed hitters get swing and misses on that about 46% of the time. So you're right. Christian Rodriguez is in there to get 3 outs, and his job is throw strikes, use the fastball.
Peyton Basler leading it off. Basler 1 for 3. So Missouri poised to go to 0-13 in SEC play. Now keep in mind, last year Missouri did not make the SEC tournament, but this year the format is different. All 16 teams go to Hoover for that single elimination tournament, 1 and 2 now. And that's the mindset for Kerrick Jackson and his team. Be playing the best ball once the SEC tournament comes around and get everybody healthy by then.
And I like that, don't you? I mean, the fact that everybody makes the tournament this year, all 16 teams, and that's part of LSU's story last year. 3-12 in the league to start. And they get in. Remember, they were sweating it out just to get in the field of 64, but they make a run at the SEC tournament, get all the way to the final. And that was a huge part of their season last year.
Basler strikes out, 1 down, and Knudsen will come up. Well, Missouri's going to bring up a pinch hitter. It will not be Knudsen hitting here. Instead, Charlie Miller is going to pinch hit.
little something off the off speed or the four seamer. Throws the two seam. It's sink. Paints the corner on 3-0.
And he bails back to fill out the count at 3-2.
Now he's throwing two different fastballs. And if you're Miller, you really have to just stay back and eliminate the pull side, look the other way because of that sinker. And he comes inside and walks him.
Ball 4, Miller walks.
Look at Sully. What are we doing? 9-run lead. Throw it right down the middle, and let's see how far they can hit it.
So Goldbeck will come up. No, it won't be Goldbeck. Another pinch hitter here, Brady Piccarelli.
Kind of got a Mickey Tettleton stance. Remember him? Detroit Tigers.
Yes.
Just standing straight up and just like, look at him. Like he's about to fall asleep. And then, let's go.
Now that's more like it for Rodriguez as he takes care of Piccarelli on 3 pitches after walking Miller. And now Missouri down to its last out.
Yeah, Christian Rodriguez using that four seam to come down the middle and into the lefties and then the sinker away from the barrel. A nice pitch by Christian Rodriguez, 1 out away.
Daniels lined out to second. His only time up came in as a pinch hitter in the 7th.